Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Commute Quarantine Conversations. My name is Adam.
And I'm Will.
And you're probably wondering, why are we hearing from you guys on a Thursday? That's not normal, and you're correct. But things are not normal right now. Will and I wanted to put out a message because we felt like we needed to acknowledge all that's going on in the U.S. right now. As our more regular listeners already know, our mission with this podcast is to join you on your journey with Jesus, to move away from a self-centered life and towards a Christ-centered life, and recognizing that is a daily choice to keep moving from point A to point B. That's why we are the Daily Commute. And right now, what it looks like to move away from those self-centered choices is really unique. For those of you listening, maybe in the future, all of the protests and riots for George Floyd, who was killed by a police officer, are going on right now, and we're heartbroken over the injustices, the division, and the pain that people are feeling right now. And we feel as if we have a responsibility to talk about this and what it means for our daily commutes. And before we get into it, I think we just at the top want to acknowledge that we're not experts on this topic, and we hope to share our thoughts and where we're at right now, but also to point you towards resources of voices of color who have really experienced these things right now. But yeah, we're here to share those things with you.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely right. We're not at all experts. Our goal is to point you to people that are, and to share, I think, the journey that we're going through, and hopefully encourage you to take some similar steps. I'm quite the opposite of an expert on this. I have a lot of learning to do. And here's what I do know. Many white people have failed to show love and empathy to the Black community. Many Christians have failed to show love and empathy to the Black community. Innocent people are dying based on the color of their skin, and that is completely and utterly wrong. There's no two ways about it. We have a community of fellow human beings, children of God, who are crying out in pain. They're telling us of their pain and their suffering and their fear. And when someone has an issue or an illness or a fear or some sort of hurt, we see in the Bible that Jesus seeks healing for them. Jesus cares for, listens, and loves the ones who are vulnerable, sick, and hurting, the marginalized and the outcasts. He doesn't minimize their pain or their fears. He makes them feel heard. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-6. Newsflash, this is not just for weddings, all right? Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It doesn't insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. We are called to love all people, and I'm not sure if what I just read in Corinthians is a good description of a lot of white Christians. I know that's a generality, okay, but I'm just calling it like I see it. Our African American brothers and sisters are calling out in their pain and their suffering and their fear, and many of us have chosen either to not believe them, to assume that this is all political, or that it's fabricated. And honestly, I don't think that it matters whether or not it is any of those things. We're called to love them, and that involves listening, having empathy, taking a humble stance, and not insisting on our own way. And with that, I'll say that this video of George Floyd has made it clear that this is real. So we have to decide, will the Christian community be known for our arrogance and stubbornness? Or are we going to be known for our love, our gentleness, humility, care, and pursuit of healing for all people? We don't know what the solution is, but we know it starts with our own hearts. And that's something that I've had to face for myself. And I think this is how it starts. And like I said, I think, just to be clear, there are plenty of white Christians out there who have acknowledged this and who are doing a good job at loving the Black community right now. But for all of us, I just think we need to take a moment. We need to we need to look at our own hearts. And that looks like this: humble yourself, confess and repent. Reflect upon the racism and the implicit bias that may be inside of you. Find it, eradicate it from your life. Acknowledge the ways you failed to love the Black community. Ask God for forgiveness, and then educate yourselves. Find Black voices to listen to. Try to understand, learn their perspective. Adam and I are both on this journey, and I've had a lot of repenting to do over the past several days.
Yeah. And I think, again, we really just want to continue to drive you guys as listeners towards resources where you can receive information and wisdom from people who have lived these experiences. And so we'll share more about this on our social platforms, Instagram and Facebook as well. But just to give you a few, starting with books, author Ta-Nehisi Coates, who authored the book Between the World and Me, highly recommend. Also his online article, The Case for Reparations. A few more is I'm Still Here by Austin Channing Brown, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, Stamped by Jason Reynolds. And for those of you who are not as inclined towards reading, there's a documentary out called 13th we'll point you towards as well. I would recommend checking those out as well as other links and articles we'll most likely be posting in the near future. But just know that from our perspective, this conversation isn't over. We know we're not maybe the best people to be having direct conversation on this, but we'll continue to be involved and to point you towards the voices that do need to be heard right now. I think that's all we've got for now. But thank you guys so much for listening, and you'll hear from us again soon.
Yep, we'll see you next time, guys.